The world of work is changing at an absolutely incredible pace. And right at the center of all that change is the recruitment industry. But is it really ready for what's coming next? In this explainer, we're going to break down the challenges, the massive shifts, and the strategies that are defining the future of recruitment.
So let's just kick things off with a huge question, right? Is the old way of doing recruitment, the model that's been around for decades, is it completely obsolete now? Well, the data suggests we're at a really critical tipping point. And believe me, the stakes could not be higher. Just look at this number, £14.4 billion. That's the staggering cost to UK businesses every single year for getting hiring wrong. This isn't just a minor issue. It's a massive financial drain that's forcing companies to demand way more value and way more certainty from their recruitment partners.
And it's not just employers who are feeling the pinch. Candidates are literally voting with their feet. The number of candidates using agencies to find a job has plummeted from 45% down to just 35% in a single year. So you have to ask, if both your clients and your candidates are starting to look somewhere else, what is going on?
Yeah. What we're looking at here is what a lot of experts are calling a perfect storm. It's this convergence of challenges that are all hitting at once, putting immense pressure on the industry. Let's really dig into what recruiters are up against. So, if you look at it from the employer side, the scale of this problem is just mind-boggling. Thanks to things like one-click apply, they are drowning in 150 million job applications a year in the UK alone. And even when they do make a hire, 1.2 million of those new people leave within the first 12 weeks. It's this totally unsustainable cycle of crazy volume and high turn. And it's all happening as the number of permanent jobs is actually starting to shrink. And then you flip the coin, and what do you see? Candidate frustration is just boiling over. And it's mostly because of a simple lack of communication. A huge 75% of candidates have just given up on a recruiter because they never heard back. But here's the crazy part, the opportunity. 86% of them would happily re-engage if they just got an update, once a week. The bar is so low, and yet the industry is still struggling to clear it. Okay, so you might think these are just internal industry issues, right? Wrong. There are massive external forces out there completely rewriting the entire rulebook. The whole game has changed. This quote from Ken Brotherston at Talent Partners just hits the nail on the head. This is the big paradigm shift. It's not about who does the work anymore. It's not about just filling a seat. The new conversation is all about how the work gets done. Does it need a permanent employee, a freelancer, an AI bot, or maybe a mix of all three? This changes absolutely everything for recruiters. And this shift is being put into overdrive by the explosion of the freelance economy. I mean, look at this forecast. By 2027, more than half of the entire US workforce is expected to be freelance. This isn't just some passing trend. This is a total restructuring of what work even means. The talent pool is now global, it's flexible, and it's more independent than ever. So, what does all of this mean for the recruiter-client relationship? Well, it's simple. The bar has been raised a lot. Clients don't just want a pile of resumes anymore. They're looking for a strategic partner. What they need now is a trusted workforce advisor who can help them figure out this complex new world of talent, tech, and getting things done. Okay, so we've laid out all these huge problems. So what's the solution? Where do we go from here? Well, the essential toolkit for any modern recruitment business is technology. It's all about becoming a tech-enabled recruiter, using automation and AI not just to survive, but to create real value. Now, it is absolutely crucial that we get the difference between these two. Automation, that's just table stakes now. It's the bare minimum for handling all those repetitive, high-volume tasks. But AI? Well, AI is the next level. It's about a broader intelligence that leads to better conversations and unlocks those high-value advisory services clients are crying out for. And this isn't some pie-in-the-sky idea for the future. The impact is happening right now. Firms that are using AI tools for things like search and matching are saving each of their recruiters 4.5 hours every single week. Just think about that. What could your best people do with an extra half a day every week? All right, so how do you actually make this happen? What's the game plan? Well, first, you've got to standardize your core automation. Get the basics right. Then you start deploying AI where you have good, solid data, like in your search process. And that means you have to build a strong data foundation. Clean up your data. AI is only as smart as the data you feed it. And finally, every single tech investment has to be clearly linked back to making the business more profitable. But look, this isn't just about plugging in new tech. It's about using that technology to build a fundamentally different, more valuable, and future-proof business, one that creates value for your clients and, just as importantly, creates capital value for your own company. So this is basically the new scorecard for success. This is what investors and potential buyers are looking at today. They want to see over 70% of your revenue coming from predictable contracted work. They want to see that you aren't too reliant on any one client. Your top 5 should be less than 30% of your business. It's all about building a company that's resilient, predictable, and ready to scale. And this quote from Victoria Bombas at Randstad is just a huge reality check. Think about it. In a world where a hot tech skill can be totally obsolete in 18 months, what's the real long-term value of a single one-time placement? It forces you to realize the entire industry has to move beyond the simple transaction to stay relevant.
So how are the smartest firms actually doing that? Well, the new service model is all about adding depth and diversifying. It's evolving from basic staffing to strategic consulting. It's offering total talent solutions that cover permanent hires, freelancers, and even internal moves. It means advising on tech, becoming a deep expert in a niche, and actively building and training communities of great candidates.
So when you boil it all down, this is the end game. The entire transformation we're talking about is really about this one fundamental shift, moving away from a one-and-done transactional business and moving toward building deep, strategic, long-term relationships where you become an absolutely essential partner to your clients.
So as we wrap this up, it all comes down to one critical question. The future of recruitment is, without a doubt, going to be tech-enabled. You need automation and AI to survive and to scale. But the real difference maker, the thing that builds trust and creates real value, that's always going to be human. So the ultimate question you have to ask is this: while you're busy building your tech stack, are you also empowering your people to be the human-led strategic advisors of the future?